Hello and welcome, Keyblade wielders. My name is Leland Riley, and this is the behind the scenes of Kingdom Hearts Book of Dawn, the web show that seeks to tell the story of Kingdom Hearts Key, Unchained Key, and possibly Union Cross. We'll see what this future holds. But as a formal introduction, again, my name is Leland Riley. I am the executive producer, the director, the costumer, the props artisan, the editor, the special effects artist. There's a lot of titles that I have in this show, but mainly this show is my baby, and I've been working for probably 6 years on this show, from conception and visualization process to actually making keyblades and everything else you see behind me, to actually filming the show. A little note towards everything and why has it taken 6 years is because I am a theater professional. I have been working in my actual field, and that became a bit problematic during COVID, when the world shut down and we lost many people in my life that I've known that have had COVID, who have passed or who have recovered. I'm thankful for that. But that did put a halt on filming. And so we have been actively filming for on and off for 3 years, trying during periods of relative safety and the like to try and have some push to really finish filming this show. And we are right about this percentage filmed at the current date of the release of this video, and I thought I might as well make some behind the scenes content for you guys in the meantime. So, you are now watching what is part of the Maker's Diary series, which is going to chronicle the creation of keyblades, of costumes, of props. So stick around, and I hope that you enjoy.
It's a selfie stick!
Oh! We're cool! Where's my Instagram?
Up first in our BOD BTS Maker's Diary series are keyblades. So, if you've ever wanted to learn how to make a glorious keyblade, here's the video for you.
Time fire!
So many keyblades, where to begin? EVA foam, of course, cosplayer's best friend. So all of my keyblades that you see right now are actually just PVC pipe core sandwiched with EVA foam. So I took 2 sheets of EVA foam, and you can order them off of Amazon or other distributors. You can link them together using their little grid pieces. You can take scraps that you have, and if they're on the edge, slap that on there, and you can have any number of shapes to cover and to fill. Especially works with bear claw, because that is a very odd shape. Now cut a channel down the center. Mask up and Dremel that baby smooth. Here's a comparison, before and after. With that channel, everything now fits nice and tight inside. Time to glue it up and tie it up. Pro tip that will save you a lot of time: whatever you can take off with a knife instead of with a sander, that's going to save you some time. So anytime that you have hard edges, which keyblades and hard edges, yeah, try a knife or an X-Acto before you get into a sander. Hold on. Before you get to spray painting, make sure that you're sealing your foam using Plastidip or gesso or any other type of foam sealant. You can sometimes heat treat certain types of foam, but what I find has worked best for me and for the finish of my Keyblades is Plastidip. One slight difference to spray paint, because it's a bit more sensitive to heat and cold, and it won't set, cure, or spray as well when it's colder. When it's colder, it'll start splattering out chunks of Plastidip, and that's not the finish that you want, because at this stage, whatever it looks like once you spray this on it is going to be the finish that you have, unless you want to sand it down and spray it more. So be very careful at this stage, and take very good care of your Keyblade prior to this, because this is all what it's going to look like on the surface, honey. Be very careful, take precaution, be out in the open, and have fun. So now that the Plastidip is dried, we can begin painting. And now, just let it dry in the most aerated space you can possibly find, with the most minimally invasive kind of riser, especially if you're painting the whole thing in one go. Make sure you have a way of hanging it so that it does not destroy the paint, and if any, it is very, very small section. So yeah, let it dry for an hour or two, come back, check it, and even at that point when it becomes more tactile and it won't really get off on your skin, you're still going to want to let it dry overnight before painting more on it, etc. Well, that's this stage over and done. Now we can add detail paint. But one thing first, this is the pile of tape that I had on here. It took me 2 hours to tape this thing up before its second color. From here, we're doing foam work and detail paint. Let's get to it. So now you've got your nice, pretty spray painted Keyblade, right? And you've done your Plastidip, you've done your spray paint, you've done your hand painting and anything like that. Yeah? I think you deserve a treat. Can I interest you in some cookies? No, these aren't actually cookies. These guys are resin clear casts to make identical faces. You see, what I really wanted was a display, obviously. So, on Bear Claw here, I have two identical duplicate little bears. And that's because it snaps on. See? Haha. Let's take a second to chronicle the development of these. So it all started back with craft foam patterning, moving into three-dimensional clay, and then finally casting in resin. So, taking water, you can definitely smooth out any imperfections in your clay. At this stage, definitely make sure it's ready to go before you put it in your oven. Speaking of, your clay will tell you the temperature and time that you need. So, once your sculpt is ready, go ahead and stick that bad boy on into your oven. Set the timer, and wait. Alrighty, so now that your clay is out of the oven and it's all set up, you're ready to make a mold. But before you start pouring silicone, read the instructions of the box. Your instructions of your silicone will tell you how long you have to mix it, how long it has to set up, and everything like that. Most silicone is going to come in a 2-part solution that you pour those together, mix it up, and it's ready. Resin's a bit of the same way. Before you start pouring any silicone, please use mold release. So, this isn't exactly the prettiest mold I've ever made in my entire life, but it turned out that I didn't have as much silicone as I thought I did. This was a simple little 30-minute setup cast. Definitely let your mold set up for a lot longer than the box says, just in case. Now that you have your nice pretty little mold, it's time for our best friend silicone mold release spray. This is going to make sure that whatever you have doesn't tear its way out of there. So, get this ready, and for resin, I use a 1:1 by volume Alumilite clear cast. It has a 30-minute work time, which I mainly use for making sure that I can pop all those air bubbles with a heat gun, which is great, perfect. And once it's in there, let that set up overnight. The cure time for this is 12 hours, but I like to give it 24 just to make sure that I'm not going to mess up my product. And once it's out of there, paint that bad boy up. Use whatever adhesive tape that you want of choice, removable or not. And bingo, you have a Keyblade. I hope that this tutorial has really helped you out and that you learned something along the way, or at least had some fun. Come back next time for another tutorial of how we made our tunics. So please like, subscribe, and hit that little bell. I don't know what it does, but it at least notifies you of our next videos. So check us out next time. Later, Keybladers!